It's Jamie from Play to Learn Preschool. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. I am so excited about what I'm going to share with you today. Usually Jem and I hop on and we share ideas for centers or art or books or all those other good things, which we love to do. But the thing that I'm going to share with you today, I think, has the potential to affect widespread positive change for all the preschoolers in our classrooms. And that's why I'm so excited to share it with you. So hello, if you're on, please leave me a comment so I can see you. Hello, I'm so glad you're here. I'm on a little bit later than normal this afternoon. I apologize for that. So Gemma is already at home, I'm by myself. But what I'm gonna talk to you about today is something that I've mentioned in other videos. It's about why it is so important to advocate for best practice for our students. Hello, I'm so glad you're here. We've talked about this in other videos lots of times, about how it's not enough to just do the right thing by our students here in our own classrooms. That in addition to doing right by our students, another important and difficult part of our job as early childhood educators is to advocate for what we know is developmentally appropriate for our students. It's that parent education piece and sometimes it's the administrator, the principal education piece, the director education piece, that is sometimes the bane of our existence, right? I talk to lots of teachers. I'm fortunate to be able to meet with them in person at workshops, and I talk to teachers obviously online and via email, and one question comes up over and over and over again, or maybe it's not a question, sometimes it's more of like a lament or a comment, right? That is, I know that my students should be playing. I know when I see it in my own classroom that this is the right thing for my kids, but the parents want to see worksheets, but the parents still wonder when they're actually learning. Or I'll have teachers who come to workshops separate from their school or from their director, and they'll say, this is great, but I'd have to shut my door and do it because my director really wants them to do letter of the week or wants them to be in a chair and doing, writing or more teacher-directed activities. I don't know how, people will say to me, I don't know how to convince other people that this is the right thing. And I feel the same thing. And I've talked about, like I said in other videos, about how it's so important that we share good research with parents, with directors and administrators and other adults in these the children's community, the community that we're serving, that's an important part. We've talked about other professional development books that we can read and resources and conferences, and we've talked about all those other things in videos. For myself, in my own classroom, I've always tried to explain very succinctly and simply in the newsletters that I send out. I used to print them, but now of course they're all email, to the parents. I would call it like what we're learning. And so I would, take a picture of a student at the dramatic play and say, this is what we're learning at dramatic play. We're learning how to get along. We're learning how to talk to each other and have conversations. We're learning how to solve problems. We are learning to sort and write and read and all these meaningful things. We're learning to use our imaginations. And I would always end it with like, dramatic play is full of learning. And then I would write, about what they learned at the Block Center. And I'd have this little article in my newsletter about, they're learning about weight and balance and force and motion and scale and pattern and all of these other things through this really amazing Block Center. And that's what we learn while we play at the Block Center. But it was always very homemade, I guess, is the way that I'm trying to say it. And so when I came across this thing that I'm going to share with you today, I was like, oh, this is what I need. This is exactly it. So what I'm going to share with you today are these series of letters called Play. I'm going to switch. Oh, I'm not going to switch the camera that way. That would be the wrong direction. Hold on. All right, there we go. So these are called Why We Play letters, and they are not written by me. They're written by somebody I really admire, another educator named Amanda Morgan. She has a website called notjustcute.com, which I love to read. It's very smart. It's very smartly written. And it like speaks to everything I know to be true about early childhood education. And what she has done is genius. She has taken all of these things that we're trying to explain to other people about what we know in our heart as being preschool teachers, what we know is right for students, what we see in our classroom, the gains that our students are making through play. And what she has done is taken each thing that the students are learning when they play and written it into a home engagement letter. These are so, where have these been all my life? I'm going to show you what they look like. So each one is just one page. They're called Why We Play. They are written for you to send home to your preschool parents, or you could drop them in your director's mailbox, right? And the cool thing about them is they're, like I said, they're one page. They are written not with a ton of education jargon. They are written for every parent to be able to read and say, oh, I feel good about sending my child to a school where they play all the time because I can defend it and I know this is right for my child's development. So this is just the first one. There are, I think there are 15. There's 15 in each of 3 sets of letters. So the first set, these are the letters. The first one is called Why We Play ... and Learn. There's one called Why We Play at the Sensory Table, Why We Play for Fine Motor Skills, Why We Play at the Easel, Why We Play for Mental Health, Why We Play for Resilience. They are so smart. Let me just share an example of one of my favorite ones. I mean, they're all my favorites. Every time I read one, I'm like, yes, that is exactly what's in my head that I haven't been able to say that well. They are so smart. So this is the letter that we would send home to the parents about why we play at the sensory table. Listen to this. The sensory table is a powerhouse for learning. That bin of sand, seeds, or sawdust is more than just another way to keep kids busy. It is a bustling factory of developmental growth. In addition to honing sensory and science knowledge, sensory play builds language and social skills as children negotiate with one another to share tools and create stories. And it goes on, but it's just one page. So the way that I've been using them in my classroom is I just send one home each week, so there's enough for like about one each week during the school year with my parents. You can either print them out, I'm kind of like, I like it in paper, you can see because I put them all into a binder, or you could just send the PDF as an email, right? Attachment to your newsletter or to your weekly, whatever your weekly updates. I just think that they're so well done. And I don't normally share a lot of things, with you like that. They're like, oh, you got to get this. Because I feel like each teacher can do really well by their students with the resources in their classroom. But I hear so often from teachers in groups, in Facebook groups, online, via question, in person, this feeling like, I agree with you, Jamie, basically is what people say to me a lot. But, how do I get other people to agree? How do I convince others? And sometimes it's the people who are just saying I just don't have the right words to share with people. Sometimes it's people who see it and they have that natural instinct, that they know that play is right for their students, but they maybe don't have the education background to be able to say with confidence, listen, I know what I'm talking about. This is what the research says. This is what the brain science shows. And they just have that confidence to be able to say it to parents or to administrators. These letters do all the heavy lifting for you. So here's another one all about how fine motor is not necessarily exactly the same as just gripping a pencil. So this one says, hold on, let me see. Here goes. Think of all the ways that your child uses their little fingers. Grasping a pencil is just one task among many. Playing instruments, wielding tools, creating art, playing sports, or even scratching an itch relies on their fingers and hands to be strong, coordinated, and adept. And I think that's one of those things that sometimes we as adults take for granted. Like, oh, my kid is really not that great on the soccer field, or, that kind of thing. Like, I wonder where it went wrong. And it starts in preschool. We have to start with developing those motor skills with our students in preschool. So I just absolutely adore them. You can send them home in order, from the first to the last. or what I'm doing is kind of picking out my favorite ones to send at the beginning, because I think everybody's really fresh and still on their A game here in September. And it's again, like Annie, what you're saying, it's good because like I can, and I try to say it on my own, but to be able to just print them out and have the research. So Amanda's done all of the research. She has cited the science and the brain science and the child development theorists here. So it's like hard to argue with it, right? And they're so good, because I know in 2019, like the things we struggle with, fine motor skills, social skills, language development, all of those things that we want to improve with our students are all done best through play. And we're able to just say to the parents, listen, you know, we want our students to have better social skills. They are not going to learn those social skills sitting quietly at a table while the teacher talks and tells them what to do. They will learn no social skills there. The way that they can learn social skills is through play. So we're playing not just because it's fluff or fun or cute or easy, which we know it's none of those things. We are playing with intention because I know it's the best way to develop your child's social skills. The link is up in the video description, somebody just asked. Anyway, I love these letters. I'm not often that passionate about a resource or product or something that I find, but I really feel like these have the potential to affect change, broad change for students across the country, across the world, and in many different classrooms. Because when we as adults, and it's a pendulum, right? We kind of go like, oh, they need more academics. Oh, they, you know, let them be free like in the 80s. They can just run around and do, you know, frolic through the fields. It's this pendulum. And I think at the current time where maybe you're swinging too far on the they need to sit and do academics side of the pendulum. And so this is going to help affect change, so that adults who see children engaged in intentional play activities in their classroom do not make comments like, but when does the actual learning take place? Or when does the lesson start? Or what are you actually teaching them, right? Because if we start to all kind of have this same understanding that play isn't an add-on, that play isn't something that we do because it's fun, although it can be, that play isn't something we do in addition to learning. If we can all start to have this same understanding that play is the learning, there's no separate. Play is how they learn. It's not an additional way that they learn or an extra fun thing to do after they've learned. That's not how their brains work. That play is how they learn. And so as soon as we can get everybody on board with that, then think how amazing it's gonna be around here, right? So anyway, I love, love, love these letters. I'm using them with my own class. Two other things that I wanted to tell you. The first is Amanda includes a checklist. I printed a new one to show you because mine has notes all over it. And what you can do is just write down the date that you emailed or photocopied the letter and sent it home with your class. So like, you know, it's only the third week of school for me, so I still feel like we're on our A game. But I know in November we'll be like, did I send the fine motor one? I feel like I sent the fine motor one, and I'll have to text one of the moms that I know in a little bit more friendly manner. I'll be like, did I send you the fine motor letter, right? But I'm gonna be more organized than that. So I just jotted down like the dates that I sent fine motor today or this week, you know, the date that I sent the fine motor one. And then I can just kind of pick and choose what we're working on or what we're focusing on in the classroom and send home the corresponding letter. So, and then the second thing that I wanted to tell you is Amanda was kind enough to offer a discount code just for Play to Learn viewers. So it's only good if you use the link that's up in the video description, and it's only good through Sunday night, 11:59 Pacific time. Sunday, today's what, today's the 19th. It's like the 23rd, is that right? And so maybe it's the 22nd. Okay, I don't have a calendar in front of me, but it's just due for like 3 more days. So if you want to get them at the special discounted price, I think it's like 20% off. The link is in the video description. I'm really happy about it too. And so anyway, there are 3 sets of these, 15 in each set. And I hope that you find them as useful as I do. I would love to like run into people when I'm out and about doing workshops and stuff, and they said, I've been sending these letters home and the parents are eating it up. Or I really was able to work with my director and work on a more play-based curriculum because of these letters. Because I think that that's what's gonna happen when we start to advocate and explain the importance of play in all different areas of development to our students. Okay, if the link isn't up there, I will hop back on in just a second and leave it. In the meantime, have fun playing and learning with your kids, and I will see you soon. Thank you, guys.